People are getting their door knocked and there's leasing going on. For what? I don't know. Why? Gee, I don't know. And, you know, and I certainly heard about the Marcellus shales back in probably 04, 05. There were some stories about this massive find, and I related it to most what other gas drillings we've had in this state, which is shallow wells. Basically the same as a coal mine. You drill a hole down in the ground, you create a void, and the gas comes in. And you collect it. This is obviously much, much different and a lot more activity involved with process. That's what we don't get. That's what we don't understand about hydraulic fracturing process. We don't understand the volume of traffic that comes to the community. We don't understand hyperinflation localized in the community. Kent Moores, who is a professor at Duquesne University, far from a warm, fuzzy tree hugger, he's a business professor and he's an international expert on the gas industry. And initially, you know, Kent Moores was on the radio talking very even-handed about all this. Well, you know, this and that. His opinion today is the industry's just really gone over the top, and that he's suggesting that a moratorium is appropriate in Pennsylvania because they just lost it. We just lost it. We don't have a regulatory environment at the state level that's adequate to deal with this. The Oil and Gas Act that we live under that preempts us was largely written in 1985 before even hydrofracking was an idea in anybody's mind that we have here today. All I have is the Oil and Gas Act left. And the Gas Act simply says that no, you know, you can't regulate the industry. So we were confronted with that, and that's after a while we look at that and say, oh, I feel like I'm a colony at this point. Because I'm a colony of Harrisburg. You know, here we are living on our little place here in western Pennsylvania, wherever it might be, Hickory, Pittsburgh, here, Murrysville. The state's telling you, shut up, you're getting this, whether you like it or not. And it really reminded me an awful lot of where John Adams was with the British in the colony. You know, it was like tough luck. Well, come on, we're English subjects too. We have rights. We're citizens. You know, we're loyal to the king. Too bad. We're going to stick it to you a little bit more. Why? Because maybe you're just a little far enough away where it doesn't matter to us, and we'll be all the richer for it. But that's what we're going to do. That's the parallel. And I'm not being overly dramatic. I mean, that's exactly what made John Adams stand up and say, hey, we need a new country. That's it. We've tried to make a deal with these guys. Forget it. And believe me, I felt a little bit like John Adams when I put the bill in, because it does kind of stick it in their ear and it's in your face. But on the other side, it's like, okay, well, what other alternative do I have? Who do I treat with? Who do I treat with? Who do I sit down with in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to mitigate or do something about potential damages to my citizenry that I represent? It's going to have to, and none of the questions that get asked of your elected official, has anybody asked them, what about our property values? Yeah. Okay, then here's the other thing. If you're going to allow them to drill all out in here, well then, how much of that land isn't going to be available for productive use otherwise on the surface? It's making a lot of money underneath, but the surface values are denigrated. Who's going to build in leased areas with a compression station, installation facility? Well, what's this do to my tax base? If we're going to allow that to happen here, what's this do to my tax base in the township? Because you're not getting, you know, is there a property tax levy on these rigs? No, they're not permanent structures. They bring everything in, they truck it in and out, so you're not getting that. What if I have surface contamination? How many people have well water in this area? You got a lot more to worry about than I do. Okay. So I met with some of you here early on in this mess in the council chamber. We in our back conference room. This was last summer, I guess. And they're, you know, oh, they're so big, they got so much money, they got all this and that and the other. Yeah, but you know what? They got feet of clay. They're formulaic. They're no different than how the tobacco industry behaves. They deny everything. It's the masters of the half-truth. We've been doing this for 60 years on fracking. Well, what's that mean? I mean, they come out and say stuff like that, and you got to listen. What do you mean? What did you say? And you said that's 60 years of hydrofracking. Well, okay, how did it go? Did it work? What communities lost their wells? Nobody's asking the right, what? Pennsylvania Constitution, Section 25 and Section 27. One, it says is that everything in this is rights reserved to the people, inalienable rights, and even though we give away some of these responsibilities to our electeds, they can't transgress these things, period. It says right in the front of the damn Pennsylvania Constitution. 25 says you're entitled to clean air, clean water as a matter of right, and those 500,000 acres of land that got leased out without so much as a hello to you are to be preserved for you and for future generations. Those are quotes from the state constitution. My question to my city solicitor was, can you regulate my rights away? No, you know that, dog. Yeah, okay, you can't do that. Now, can you write an ordinance or a statute that takes my rights away? Well, yes or no. Does the Oil and Gas Act take away my civil rights? Does it take away my right to clean air and clean water as enumerated in Section 27, Article 1 of the state constitution?
Interesting.
And he goes like this, I don't know. I said, because he came back with the Oil and Gas case law. Yeah, well, the Oil and Gas Act says this, that, and the other. I says, has anybody argued the article in the 2 chapters that I gave you? No. Well, let's do that. You want to make some history? Let's go do that. You might win. Let's take a different issue, something absurd. Well, I don't want to vote for this, even though we know it's the right thing to do, because we might get sued. I mean, what the hell kind of elected official is that? I might get sued, therefore I quit. I'm not going to stand up. Well, we don't want to outlaw burning in the backyards. I might get sued. Meanwhile, the neighborhood might burn down. But I might get sued. Welcome to my world. We get sued every stinking day in government. When are we not being sued? They're like, well, we're really not going to drill there, Doug. And I said, then what the hell did you lease for? And I'm saying, that ain't your call. That's my call. I make that decision. I got voted in. I don't know you. I don't know who the hell voted for you. I didn't see your name on a ballot. And you're coming in here making decisions that not only affect me and my family, but my community, my city as a whole. Now you tell me, is that worth fighting for? Are you worried about getting sued? Yes. All right, Bridget, calm down. She loves it when I give these speeches. But I'm telling you, yeah, it's tough. Yeah, the assholes are sitting on their duffs going, well, Fred and I are in a Kiwanis together. I got a land deal, or my cousin sold the range, or leased out to Andarko. Yeah, what about it? You get up and you move and you make people as uncomfortable as you possibly can within the law. It's like, hey, pal, you ran for office. You got to put up with this crap. I do every day. It's a great job. But there's some days that you just are like, oh, brother. And it happens because that's the choice I made. They made a choice. They made a choice to put their name on a ballot and seek your approval. And they have not lived up to that approval. And the other thing I heard about this meeting tonight, somebody said they didn't want to come because they felt it would be a conflict of interest to have to listen to the other side. Which is like absurd. Yeah. Absurd. Absolutely absurd. You can't have a recall in Pennsylvania. We don't do referendums here in a very narrow way. So what do you got left? You got your voices, you call them every stinking day, and you demand an answer. You're entitled. It's your right, and it's their obligation to give you the answer. What's my property value? Where's our goddamn public safety plan? Forgive me, I'm in a church. All right, but where else? Where are these things? We might get sued.